Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Fresh Crits of Melbourne. Because everybody loved having Ryan on the channel last episode, I thought I'd reach out to my great friend Dean Madden to get him on the channel and have a bit of a chat with him about his race at Glenvale on the 12th of November. So before we fully get started, please make sure you like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, tell everyone about Fresh Crits, get them on the channel. If you see yourself, please comment below. And lastly, if you're looking for a set of wheels, well, don't look further than WINSPACE. There you see on the right-hand side. Here's a code for $100 off. Now grab yourself a Cliff Bar and enjoy the race. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a special guest with us today. We've got the one and only, fresh off Nationals, Dean Madden. Dino, how are you today, mate?
Good, thanks, mate. Long time listener. Honored to be invited to.
Long time, first time caller. It's like we're on talk back here, mate. So I want to go back to the very, very start because I'm sure everyone in the audience is keen to hear about Nationals. How was it?
Look, I thought hot Nationals would be fun, just as long as it doesn't rain. And it rained for about 3 hours of Nationals, so it was good fun descending the uni every lap in the wet. But no, it was good. Would have liked to finish, but we got pulled off with 3 laps to go. But that's what happens when lap puts 9 minutes into your solo.
Brutal, absolutely brutal. I watched it from I think I was in Bangkok airport, and it looked pretty grim out there. And I don't know. I caught a few times some guy doing wheelies into you, which I thought was quite amusing. I'm not too sure what you thought about that. I'm sure you're trying to stay focused, and you got a guy coming across your front wheel. Probably not that great, but you handled it quite well, mate. Well done.
Well, I was riding at threshold, and Jensen still had the ability to ride a wheelie, so.
And then I hear he put a knee in your back going around corners as well, right?
Yeah, he was having a bit of fun.
Yeah, good man. All right, so back to this race. We've jumped in the way back machine, back to the 12th of November. We're down at Caulfield Carnegie, and it's a beautiful Sunday afternoon. We've got pretty much blue skies, maybe a slight bit of wind. I didn't put it on the map this week, but a slight bit of wind. And it's a pretty good race for you. You're feeling pretty fresh coming into this, right?
Well, must have been given the amount of times I wasted energy off the front, so I must be pretty fresh.
I like the fact that you called it wasted energy. Yeah, good, fair enough. Absolutely fair enough. Okay, so let's pick this up. We're 4 minutes, 35 seconds into this race. Did you have a bit of a plan? I know you're riding with the Race Atlas guys at this stage. Did you and I think was Cam there? No, I think it just might have been Bully. Did you guys have a bit of a plan coming into this race?
Not particularly. Glenvale's hard. I don't have much of a sprint, so I've only got one option and one card to play here. So you just got to try and pick the guys that are willing to rip themselves to pieces off the front and try and stay away.
And talking about the hitters, there's a couple here today as well. I've just noticed Jimmy Whelan there on the left-hand side. And I think Ryan, who we had, Ryan Schultz was also flying coming into this race. So was Bentley. So there's a few bloody strong riders here. Were you kind of looking, because I know you like to, jump off the front with people. Are you kind of looking for riders of that caliber to kind of launch off the front with, or you just kind of, making it up as you go?
Bit of both. I mean, if you're close enough to the front and you can see it go, obviously you try and get there. But if you're 30 wheels back, you just drag the whole bunch if you see them go and try and go with them.
So the key thing is try to be near the front as long as you can without wasting any energy, right?
Yeah, which is a lot easier said than done at Glendale when you're doing 50k an hour.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so what we might do is I've marked some key areas to go and have a look at. So let's jump over to that now. All right, we're skipped forward to 8:35, and it looks like there's a bit of a lull in the actual race, and we've got Bully here doing a bit of a big turn here, and you're following his wheel. Was there anything said coming into this? You can see two riders up the road as well.
I think he might have been flicking me through to help him roll a turn, helping a teammate out.
So you
but
attacked
by the
him.
looks of things, I just used him up and sent it across.
Yeah, that's what I think. You just fully attacked your teammate. I love that because up the road here, it looks like it's a couple of really strong riders. I think we've got Ryan Schultz, and I'm not too sure who that rider in the black is. If you do know yourself, pop up in the comments. This is a really good break. And the fact is, you're feeling so fresh. You didn't even go to sit behind them. You just launch straight over the front. You show that you're committed with this, right? That's how you kind of like to do things?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, 10 minutes in, you could also argue it was just a complete rush of blood to the head. And I hadn't hit max heart rate yet, so
yet.
But yeah, well, I'm going with option number one there.
Yeah, I like that. But I guess it's you're in two minds, right? If you're coming in with speed, you don't really want to be jumping on the anchors only to accelerate once again. So you may as well carry that speed through and force them to chase and show that you are committed, right?
Also, when you come past a couple of K an hour quicker, sometimes there's that bit of hesitation from someone, and then it takes a while to get back on the wheel and then for them to roll through. So if you're feeling good, sometimes it's best to send it.
And send it he does right into the future, where we're going to pick this next clip up there. Okay, so we skip forward to 13-16, and the break's still away, and it's got a really good makeup of riders. We've got Schultz, Bento, maybe Nick White, we're not too sure. Aiden, I think that's Aiden in the rear cam, maybe not, have come across. So it's a really good makeup of riders here. Do you remember if these guys were working pretty well together, or was it a bit of a mess?
No, I think any time Bentley and Ryan are in a move together, they swap off pretty well. I must have drew the short straw here sitting on Ryan because he folds up so small that you get little to no draft off him. You can see I'm doing 460 in the wheel.
Right, almost maxing out. Love that. It's the best place to be, right? When you're meant to be catching a draft and you're actually doing probably more watts as a guy in front. And that's the one thing that we that noticed when we were chatting to Ryan. He said it himself. He doesn't have the most power going around, but the fact is, you said it, he folds up so small, and he just stays so aero, which is a bit of a handy skill to have. Unfortunately, though, mate, it looks like the peloton's almost caught you. You can see in the rear camera there that there's it's all super strung out, but not too far across. Are you pretty bummed out this one didn't stick?
It's always hard to tell, particularly when you're at 185 beats. I think you need to settle. Yeah, you kind of need to settle a bit, and then you give the look over the shoulder on the inside of the corner. But it normally takes a few laps for that elastic band to snap sometimes, and I think this, we're only 15 minutes in, so there's still some pretty fresh legs in the group that want to get involved.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And yeah, like you said, the more sort of attacks like this that you throw into the race, it stretches the entire peloton, and you just hope that elastic band does snap. However, unfortunately for these boys, the band has not snapped yet, so let's fast forward to when the break finally gets brought back. Yeah, you can see now the peloton's caught you. I think you were away for maybe 8 minutes on the dot, I reckon, which is, a good couple of laps down at Glenvale. And the fact is you're cooking at 181 beats. You must be in a whole bunch of hurt right now, yeah?
Yeah, and you kind of look back and hope that the bunch is all coming past. You can sit up for a bit, but I think I realised the group's pretty small, and I go,
184
I've either got to jump on
500 watts. It's vomit-inducing, dude. But I think you're right. I think that's the separation between, your top, I don't know, we'll call them A+ grade riders at Glenvale and your A graders, is the fact that you can do those repeat efforts when you've already cooked yourself, you know what I mean? That's what separates the normal mere mortals and the hitters, I suppose.
Yeah. I think Glenvale's good too, because you know that once you get on the wheel, you get a little bit of a rest, whereas maybe somewhere like Q, you're probably not willing to dig as deep purely because there's the berg coming up in the next 30 seconds. So
it's still the hands down the hardest crit course in Melbourne.
Definitely.
Yeah, I reckon. Okay, so everyone's caught you here. Hopefully, you sit up here, you stop pedaling, give yourself a bit of time to rest and recover, and we might pick this one up in the next attack that you decide to pull up only in a couple of minutes. Okay, mate, so we've skipped to 22:18 as you see me going backwards. And this is the John Hollingworth Cup. So I think we've just had a sprint lap. And often when there's a sprint lap, there's generally a bit of a lull in the race. And this is, as you, you rub shoulders with Josh Brooker there.
Threading the needle there.
Absolutely are. He would have got a nasty surprise. So after the sprint lap, generally there's a bit of a lull in the race. You can see a few people stop pedaling and I guess start freewheeling, I suppose. And this is a really good time to launch an attack. So once again, you see Lewis there, you launch straight off his wheel over to Adam, and you use his draft because there's a group of about 4 riders up the road with Bento and I think Ryan. So you use that wheel to jump across, which is a really smart move. Did you see this move up the road? Did you think it was threatening?
Yeah, I think I saw the Case kit go up the road and saw Ryan there, and I thought if any break is going to stick, it's probably going to be those guys.
Yeah.
But I think I dragged too much of the group. I think everyone kind of has the idea when there's a sprint lap. Hit them afterwards
because you're either going to be you're either going to be sitting and chilling and watching the sprinters go, or in the sprint yourself. There's no really two ways in between. You're not going to be contesting a sprint lap for 10th. So Bento's, you've obviously seen him fly off the front. You're like, I'm going to get on this. But you can see in that rear cam, you're probably dragging about 10 guys across with you. But in reality, there's not really much you can do about that, right?
Yeah. I think too, if you look in the rear cam there, it really highlights that everyone wants to be in the move, but not many people want to commit to it. And they'll just drop a wheel like that or flick someone through and sit up. And that just ruins the cohesion of any group that goes off the front, and it's kind of, it only takes one guy to sit up and flick everyone else through to ruin the roll.
Yeah, exactly right, and that's what creates less organisation, and that's probably exactly what's happened here, because it looked like Bento just sat up and everyone's expecting him to chase, but he's actually working pretty closely with Ryan, right? So when he sat up, everyone else is sat up, and it's allowed you, Ryan, and this Duda rider to sneak off the front pretty easily.
Yeah, those are the best, when you just roll off the front and look back and realise you've got a gap.
All right, so 4 minutes later, mate, unfortunately, once again, your brake is caught. So this is, I think we count, this is the second break already into this race, and we're not even halfway in. So surely this is playing a bit of a toll. Surely your legs are getting pretty sore, after all these attacks, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've pretty much been pinned at 180 beats, but whenever I'm racing, I never have power or heart rate on my screens, just purely because, there's nothing I can do about it in a race. I'm at the mercy of everyone else. So,
nah, man, yeah. I have to. Well, maybe I shouldn't have that. That's a really interesting one. I wonder who else rides with no heart rate and power.
It's like a time trial. If you look and see your heart rate's at 190 already, and you're 2 minutes in, it can, psych you out a little bit. And if you're on a good day, you can push a little bit deeper.
Fair shout. So what do you have on your head unit then?
I just have lap distance, just so I can see how much longer I've got to hang on for.
Not even time?
Oh, yeah, sorry. When I say lap distance, I mean lap distance and lap time as well.
Shit, okay. Well, on mine, it's just max power, because I just want to see.
Yeah, max 5 second power.
Yeah, max 5 seconds. That's really interesting. Maybe I'll try that next Glenvale, because I think I psych myself out when I realize my heart rate's at 190. And I'm like, well, according to some basic studies, I should be dead if I'm rocking a heart rate like that. So maybe it's a good idea for the next Glenners that I jump into. Cool. So this is a funny one. You've kind of been on the front. You've been in that move, and you've just been hit. There's a small break. You can see in the rear cam, you've got a nice, tasty little nice, tasty little gap between you and the pelo, or the split. You've had to absolutely dig super deep to get back onto this one. You're probably tasting blood in your mouth right now, right?
Oh, for sure. It's one of those ones where you're sitting up and hoping that the 20, 30 wheels in the bunch just come past and you can jump on the back, and then you look and it's either, let that go when you were close enough to get on, or just bury yourself one last time and hope this is the one.
Yeah, you have to. Absolutely have to. And Aldona, who recently world champion, right? is in your wheel there, so he's in good form too. Pelo's back together, mate. So it's another kind of burnt match there, unfortunately. But it's not too it's not all wasted, because every sort of move or every sort of attack that you're doing like this, it is stringing the peloton out. And as we've watched this video from the start of the race until now, it's taken the peloton longer to catch you back up, and there's been less breakaways, I think, but more splits in the peloton. You can see in the rear cam, Aiden is sending another one up the inside. Mate, why don't you just let one go? You're launching 1100 watts to get into this move. What is going through your head?
Look, I think this was purely a rush of blood to the head. Although, I mean, when you see Aiden go up the road, Aiden's willing to blow himself up, risk it all to win a race. So, he's more than happy to roll through hard. And, I was close enough there. And thankfully I didn't have my heart rate there, because if I'm already at 183, I don't have much room to move from there.
No, exactly right. And I think, look, it's a good point. You always, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Like, you're obviously wanting to make sure that the timing's right, but also whoever's in the move are the right people. You don't want to be launching across people that aren't strong enough to ride out the peloton, but you're also looking for people that are willing to work, right? And I know Aiden, Ryan, Bento, all those guys are really willing to do the work to get across, which I think is a really fair point. Okay, well, in the rear cam, splits everywhere. I think I remember this race and I was dying. I counted up the road at one stage. There was like 5 different splits going on of people trying to grab onto the next wheel. So everyone's blowing apart with 23 Ks to go. It wasn't the most enjoyable race. But unfortunately, mate, this one gets caught again. What we might do is we'll skip to that bit and then we'll talk around next steps. All right, cool. So we'll pick this one up from 44 minutes, 30 seconds in, or 35 seconds in, with 13 Ks left to go. We've got Brett on the front here. You've been kind of chilling. There's been little moves and little things going on, but you've been kind of chilling up until this stage. Although I look at your heart rate, you're back at 179. So maybe your chilling has been not that much chilled. But even so, there's 13 Ks left, and you're not going to wait for a bunch sprint because you said you don't have much of a kick. So what are you thinking? You're like, last this effort, I need to get off the front if I'm going to have any crack of winning this race?
Yeah, I think at this point I've burnt a few matches, so it can't be a 3-lap flyer because I just don't have the watts left. It needs to be sneaking across and then settling into a effort. I mean, ideally you ride across to someone, but I think I had you and Lewis kind of slowing things down a little bit for me off the front.
No, we wouldn't do that, mate. We wouldn't do that. I do recall thinking after this happened, and when I realised no one had come with me, that it's a long way to go, and I wasn't feeling particularly great at this point. Particularly when you look down and you see you've got 10 minutes left. That doesn't sound like very long when you're fresh, but it's an awfully long time when you're not feeling great. But one guy did come across. Hey, he is full mouth breathing. The Disduder rider, full on mouth breathing. He is struggling. He's gone as deep as he could possibly go to get across, and you can tell in the body language, man. Like you've got your focusing on one thing, is just trying to push those pedals. And I think as you sneak up the inside and whack him with 500 watts, he's like, no, I'm out. Why didn't you want to work with him? Did you just think you were in your own rhythm, or what was it?
Look, I think it's a little bit unfortunate in these cases. You'd love to work with someone and share the workload, but if your speed drops below 40 at Glenvale in someone's wheel, you kind of got to push on a bit. And I think, clearly you'd done awesome numbers to get across, but just didn't really have much more to give, which,
That's fair enough.
I've been there plenty of times.
Yeah, it's fair enough coming this deep into the race just to get to the move. And I bet he's dirty on himself because this move does end up doing quite well. But sometimes you got the legs, sometimes you don't. So you're riding on your own out in front for almost 4 laps until you get some company. So we'll skip forward and see who that company is.
Breakaway!
Okay, man, we'll pick this one up with 10Ks left. And you've been off the front for, I reckon, 4 laps. You've clearly found a rhythm. Your heart rate's pinned at 184. You found a rhythm, and I'm assuming you don't know that Bento's launched out of the peloton and come across to you.
No, he just appeared out of nowhere, which is scary in itself because there was a pretty sizable gap.
Yeah. It doesn't even
and then
wait.
I think
doesn't even wait. Just
and I think it occurred to me very quickly that I was having to still do a lot of watts just in his wheel. But I think we started rolling pretty well together.
Yeah.
And when you've got a gap this close to the end, you start to think, oh, maybe this one actually might pay off. Here I am trying to take the inside line.
Yeah, what do you do? Just let him go, man. Let him do some work. Yeah. So I know it's a while ago, but talk me through. Were you happy to see him, or were you like?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think I could have ridden solo by myself and kept we've jumped from low 40s to 50 k an hour now.
True. And you can find those little moments where you can recover, even if you are doing like 350 watts in your wheel. I guess that is even a psychological sort of recovery. But you're really not. You're doing more, still more work. So whatever, up to you. So with just over 8.5 Ks to go, we'll have a look back at what's going on in the peloton with me and Ryan, and you can see the pace is really, really off. We're staying near the front of the race to try to help Dean and Bento stay away in the break. We're not blocking, but we're just trying to stay, and if there's any moves to jump across to it. It's safe to say that because no one's really wanting to push the pace too hard, I think this one might stay away. So we'll skip back to Dino and Bento and see how things are. All right, mate. You're still away in the break. There's 1,600 meters left in this race. Did you guys have a bit of a chat around how you wanted this to play out? Were you going to try to battle it out to the finish? What were your thoughts?
Yeah, so I don't think we probably said much to each other. Probably about three words. We both kind of know what needs to happen when we're this close to the finish. But you can see here I was doing. I mean, I didn't know at the time, but between 400 and 500 watts just in the wheel. So I think on one of these laps, I turned to him and just said, "Look, you can have this. I'm not going to beat you in a sprint, and if you jam it here, you can drop me, and I'll end up back in the bunch."
Yeah, exactly. It's like one of those things. What do you want? If you know someone's going to be faster than you in the sprint, it's a tough sort of decision to have. You just got the bell then. Last lap, under a K left. You're pretty stoked, man. Like, how many seconds have you picked up at Glenvale before?
Never won at Glenvale. Got a few podiums over the years, but never won. But look, I just knew there was no point, and I wasn't 100% sure how close the bunch was. So I thought, if we start sitting up and hitting each other, number one, I'm going to get rolled, and number two, I'm going to go back in the bunch. And spent most of the race off the front for no reason reward. So here I just sat on the front, so he knew I wasn't going to, try and roll him at the end. And then like any good cyclist, he still lines me up for the last straight just in case I do go back on my word. Which
he fully does too. So we're just going to we're coming into the final straight to the finish, and he's having a good old look behind. He's in the drops. And he's probably going to leave a little bit of a gap off your wheel here.
Yeah.
So what have we got? 200 meters left. Yeah, little gap. Boost it across. And you were like, oh, man, if you're going to do that, I'm going to try to have a go too. 900 watts.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to make it look like I tried.
Yeah, exactly. But, mate, that was what a race from your own perspective. Like, in every single move you could have been in, and to get the reward from all that work was just amazing to watch. So kudos to you, mate. Well done for the second place.
Thanks, mate.
That's pretty much it, mate. Thanks for jumping and having a chat with me tonight. I know it's quite late. I said I was only going to take you for 20 minutes. We've kind of blown that out. But right. Dino, thanks again for jumping on the channel. We'll hope to get you back soon.
Hopefully we get Fresh Crits down to Hawthorn very soon.
Yep, I do need to get back down to Hawthorn very, very soon. Well, that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for taking the time to finish out this video. A huge, huge thanks to Dean for taking his evening to chat with me. But that's pretty much a wrap for today's episode. If you enjoy this stuff, please send it to your friends. Share it with your family. Comment below. Subscribe. Most importantly, subscribe. Stay safe out there, everyone, and I will see you next time for another episode of Fresh Crits. Ciao.